Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome back, everyone, to another explainer. Today, we're exploring a narrative that honestly feels like it was practically built to be a stunning, cinematic AI video. I mean, it's got this incredibly lush, vivid imagery wrapped around a super profound message. We're looking at a classic children's bedtime story called Ruby Raccoon and the Golden Feather. But hey, don't let the genre fool you for a second, because the themes here, the allure of superficial shine, the traps of ambition, the actual meaning of wealth, these are things we can all learn from. So let's get focused and break down the visual and thematic journey of Ruby Raccoon.
To really understand how this story pulls us in, we gotta look at the hook. Picture this. We start on a peaceful evening, right? The orange sun is dipping behind the hills when a sudden commotion just shatters the silence. "It's magical," chirp the birds. "It shines brighter than the moon," squeak the mice. This dialogue instantly grabs our attention, just as much as it grabs the attention of our main character. It sets the stage perfectly for a fateful quest, driven entirely by hearsay and the promise of something unimaginably brilliant.
Section 1. The Whispering Forest.
So deep in the heart of this forest lives Ruby Raccoon. She's this clever little animal with one pretty major flaw. She loves shiny things more than absolutely anything else in the entire world. I want you to picture the vivid cinematic imagery here. Whenever the sunlight touches the trees, Ruby is frantically scampering around. And she's not gathering food, she's not building shelter, she is literally filling her tiny treehouse with purely superficial items. We're talking sparkling pebbles, discarded silver wrappers, glittering shells. She is essentially hoarding the illusion of value, completely and totally captivated by surface-level sparkle.
Section 2. The Golden Feather.
While Ruby is listening to all these birds and mice buzzing with excitement, an old squirrel leans in and whispers a rumor about the golden feather. Now, this isn't just another shiny object. It comes with a massive, life-changing promise. It's supposedly made of pure gold, and it guarantees that whoever owns it will instantly become the most admired animal in the forest. For a character who is already obsessed with appearances, I mean, this is the ultimate prize, right? It's not just about the physical object anymore, it's about the status and the validation it supposedly brings. Her eyes go wide, and she decides right then and there she simply must find it.
Section 3. Warnings ignored. The very next morning, Ruby gets ready for her big journey. She packs some berries, a few nuts, and a tiny lantern into her little satchel. She really thinks she's prepared for the forest, but she is entirely unprepared for the reality of this quest. As she ventures further and further away from the safety of her treehouse, we can basically trace her descent into the unknown. She crosses paths with Beaver down by the river, she encounters Olivia Owl, and finally she crosses the threshold into the dark forest. And the big takeaway from this sequence is that at every critical juncture before the danger truly hits, a mentor figure pops up to offer her a chance to turn back. But that allure of the prize, it completely blinds her to their wisdom. So the first really crucial point is embedded right there in her first encounter. Beaver is busy building a dam, doing actual, real, constructive work, when he stops and asks where she's rushing off to. When she proudly announces her mission, Benny just smiles gently and gives her this warning. Sometimes shiny things are not as wonderful as they seem. It's such a profound piece of advice. Let me ask you, how often do we, in our own lives, completely ignore good, solid advice just because we're totally blinded by our own ambition? Yeah, Ruby barely even listens to him.
Further down the path, she gets a second warning. Olivia Owl, resting wisely up on a branch, tells her the forest can trick those who chase appearances. And this moment brilliantly illustrates Ruby's stubbornness. Guys, she actually waves her paw dismissively at the owl, literally brushes her off. She tells Olivia not to worry because she truly believes this feather is going to make her special. She hurries away before Olivia can say another word, entirely convinced that external appearances are going to fix whatever internal need she has for admiration.
Section 4. The Muddy Trap.
After hours of relentless searching, the whole cinematic atmosphere of our explainer completely shifts. The pacing slows way down, and the suspense really starts to build. Ruby enters this incredibly dark part of the forest she's never seen before. The environment changes rapidly. Strange vines curl around twisted trees, and the wind begins to make these eerie whistling sounds. The tension is palpable. And then suddenly, sparkle! Something golden shimmers right beneath a bush. It glows beautifully in a patch of sunlight, blindingly bright, brighter than anything Ruby has ever seen. She gasps, carefully picks it up, and squeals happily, "It's mine!" She really thinks she's won the whole shebang.
But let's just hit pause on the narrative right here. Was it truly magical?
because right as she tucks that shiny golden prize away into her satchel, the ground beneath her paws suddenly becomes incredibly sticky. She looks down, totally confused.
The trap springs. She has stepped right into thick, gooey mud that was hidden carefully under the leaves. And the cruel physics of the trap take over. The more she struggles and panics, the deeper she sinks into the muck. She cries out for help, and in all the chaos, the feather slips right out of her bag. As she's trapped there in the mud, she watches in absolute horror as the golden shine literally begins to wash away. Little drops of yellow paint drip from the feather right into the mud. It was fake. The beautiful, magical item was nothing more than an ordinary crow feather covered in cheap, shiny paint. Her heart just completely sinks.
Section 5. The True Glow.
Just as all hope seems entirely lost, Benny Beaver and Olivia Owl arrive. They didn't abandon her. They bring a long, sturdy branch, tell her to grab on tight, and together, with combined effort, they pull a very muddy, very humbled Ruby safely out of that trap. Once she catches her breath, she looks down at the muddy, fake feather and just admits how foolish she was to think something shiny must automatically be valuable. Olivia Owl smiles kindly, delivering a classic hard-hitting truth. Many things glitter on the outside, but true worth is found inside. It is the quintessential bedtime story lesson delivered with absolute perfect timing.
The thematic contrast of her entire journey becomes incredibly clear here. On one side, you have superficial shine, represented by a fake, painted crow feather that literally leads you straight into a trap. And on the other side, you have true worth, represented by a kind heart, honesty, and the actual friendship that rescues you when you are sinking. Benny echoes this exact sentiment too, telling Ruby that true friendship shines a whole lot brighter than gold. Looking closely at Ruby's character arc, we see this profound, fundamental shift. We start on day 1, where she's basically neurotically hoarding shiny objects. Day 2, she is actively chasing a fake treasure, which leads directly to her downfall. But later that same day too, she is saved by her real treasures, her friends. By day 3 and beyond, her behavior does a complete 180. She stops filling her home with useless, shiny objects. Instead, she discovers the richer intrinsic value of community. She spends her days helping her friends, sharing food, and actually laughing.
Which leaves us with a final, truly beautiful cinematic scene. The stars twinkle softly above Whispering Forest. Ruby is curled up in her treehouse, and she's not surrounded by silver wrappers or painted feathers anymore. She's just sleeping peacefully beside her dear friends. For the very first time in her life, her heart feels genuinely richer than it ever has before. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this thought. We all have things we chase because we think they'll make us special, or admired, or important. But what golden feathers are you prioritizing over the true glow in your own life? What fake painted things are you chasing right now that might just be leading you into a trap? Take a moment to reflect on that today. Thanks for joining me for this breakdown, and keep seeking out the things that truly matter. Catch you next time.